Hello, welcome to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton, and today we're doing a little bit of pre-Valentine's Day gothic love in our review of the latest adaptation of Dracula from Luc Besson, who let's just go ahead and get right into it. Luc Besson who is the director of he directed The Professional, Leon the Professional. He directed La Femme Nikita. Those were his two big early outings in film, and then followed that up with The Fifth Element, which is, in my opinion, his best movie. One of the most rewatchable, delightfully fun movies ever made. Just a absolute fantastic turn of a film, and now we get and he's never quite reached that level again. Yeah, he's done a lot of movies since, honestly, since and none of them have ever reached the level of The Fifth Element. Some have at least attempted to recreate the unique look and feel that Fifth Element has. And now we come to Dracula, and this movie was originally entitled Dracula colon a love tale, and so that should tell you what this movie is leaning into. And honestly, I wish they had kept that as the title, because that is a better title than just throwing out Dracula, which is the title of the movie as it was released, and saying here's a Dracula movie, because this is just such a different telling of the story. And um last year there was a movie starring Ray Fiennes where called The Return, which was the telling of the Odyssey, basically from the moment Oedipus returns to, not Oedipus, yeah, Oedipus uh, returns to his returns home, and from that moment on, which leaves out 90% of the Odyssey. And this movie, in similar fashion, takes a look at just specifically only the love story that is going on, where we're introduced to Dracula as a young prince who is going to war to fight the Muslims for God, and he just asks God, "Hey, keep my wife safe. That's all you got to do." And of course, his wife dies, and so he has to renounce God and make a big deal of it, and kills the bishop with a cross, and is then cursed with never ending life, and lusts uh Oedipus. Oh, okay. Did I say Oedipus? I'm sorry, Odysseus. And Dracula is, the first vampire, and then uh we follow Dracula as he makes his way through European courts trying to find his love, and uh eventually we eventually he brings a man to his house to handle some, because the man wants to speak to the count, about some of his property holdings, and he sees more than he should have, and then ends up becoming intertwined with, and about to be killed by the count, and then says, "Wait, no, tell me your story." And so he tells him the story, and we find out, "Hey, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been doing. I've been going through the courts, and now I just stay in my castle alone and miserable because my true love has not returned to me yet. And but before returning, I sent out throughout the world my minions, to find her for me, and move back over to Paris, and we find out that one of his minions has found his love, and so and now it becomes a, how are we going to bring these two lovers back together? It turns out also that the person that who his love is, it happens to be married to this man who fortuitously ends up on his doorstep. Um, and a lot of that is like, okay, well, we know that from the original Dracula story, but there's so much going on in that original Dracula story, and this is just this strips all of that out. All we get is just one priest who is played by Christoph Waltz, and so just automatically, that role is on lockdown and being played well. And Christoph Waltz is really kind of the only sort of foe here throughout the movie, and once things get rolling, who is trying to hunt down Dracula. And this movie is way more fun than it has any right to be. It really should have stuck with Dracula Love Tale title, because it is so friggin' campy. Like, this movie is just I'm surprised that they don't hand out like sleeping bags when you buy a ticket to it, because of how much camp there is in this movie. And it's just so over the top with the sort of like, not so much with the gothic grandeur, but certainly with the gothic torn apart love. And it's just, in without the pejorative use of the term, it is ridiculous. It is an absolutely ridiculous movie, but in strictly good ways, not in anything that could be misinterpreted as negative, or any negative connotations with that. It is a ridiculous movie that absolutely works if you're just willing to be like, okay, this is not a traditionally good movie, but it also is absolutely one that is worth the watch. And I just had so much fun with it. Like, I really did enjoy this movie. And I went in, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I even want to go see this. The reviews have been terrible. I bet I'm going to hate it. And I genuinely did not hate it at all. And there was nothing about it that I hated. The very, very ending is, so like, one of the things that happens in this telling of Dracula is he has a whole bunch of gargoyles, and that are alive, and it really, it adds to the gothicness of it. But it also adds to the ridiculousness to an extent. And then at the very end of the movie, when Dracula finally succumbs, literally just to save his love, the gargoyles change. I'm not going to say what they change into, but I'm just going to say that they change, and the transformation is like, that's weird and depressing, and not at all in the flow of what's going on in this movie. Well, there is a scene where we see Dracula changing his minions. There's one in particular, played by Matilda de Angelis. Her name is Maria, who is the one who finds Elisabetta, Dracula's ex wife, who was killed. And she's perfect. Like, just encapsulates everything that is going on in this movie. And I loved her performance. Just the most over the fucking top performance you have ever seen from a female vampire character ever. Like, just impossible to overstate just how ridiculous and just like sex crazed and lusty and just out there this performance is, and it's perfect. It is just I I would want to watch her spin-off movie because that is how much fun that character is. And I don't know if we're supposed to like there's nothing scary about this movie. Like it is not, just take any context or pretext or anything that this is a horror movie of any kind and throw it out the window. It is truly a love tale semi wrapped inside of a horror setting. And it's so necessary to have the bloodsuckers be something more than just somebody who will kill, and she accomplishes that and just brings it. And of course, again, I have to mention Christoph Waltz because he's in the movie and I love him. Here at Real to Real Talk, we do tacos instead of stars when we're rating a movie. And if we feel like it needs a little bit of extra kick, we will add guac. And instead of doing like a half a taco like you would with half a star. Why? Because nobody eats half a fucking taco. This is a right down the center 3 taco movie. This one absolutely appealed to me. It is not going to appeal to everybody. People who enjoy the and think that movies should be progressing the art form in some way, shape, or form are probably just gonna have a terrible time with this movie. Anybody who takes this seriously for more than 2 seconds is absolutely gonna have a terrible time for this movie. Anybody who loves Dracula because he's scary is gonna have a terrible time with this movie. But anybody who's just up for a campy, fun fun is stretching it, but a campy movie like just go in and let it be what it is. And just when you see the titles card flash up, just remember it's called Dracula, a love tale, and then you'll have fun with it. Next movie I'm going to do is Iron Lung. This is a movie that came out last week. It was number 2 in the box office last week. It is a movie. It is an independent film in the purest sense of the word. Okay. And it is a movie that was financed completely on his own by the writer and director and star of the movie, who is a YouTuber named Markiplier. And he's apparently huge. I've not heard of him, but that's okay. This movie is a film version of a game. I know nothing about the game. Literally would never. You could have told me that there was a game called Iron Lung. Can you guess what it's about? I wouldn't have just come anywhere close to knowing what it was. But I'll tell you, it is about a guy who has committed a crime in the very, very far future, and is given the opportunity to atone for his crime by doing some deep exploration in a ocean of blood, in basically we'll call one man submarine. Yeah, I mean, which bears resemble if you could stand up in an iron lung but just barely stand up. That's basically what's going on with this movie. And it's an exploration of a few things. So first of all, this environment, what's it going to have, what's it going to do mentally to the person who is inside the tin can? First and foremost, that's what it is. Secondly, from a story standpoint, you don't my qualm, I'm just going to come out with my qualm right up front. It's really, really hard to know what's going on. And I will freely admit I did doze off early in this movie, and Linus filled me in on about the 10-15 minutes that I missed when I dozed off. It didn't help. The problem is that other than you understand that he has done something, and you don't, like, one of the mysteries is, well, what did he actually do? And that is, picked apart throughout the movie, and then finally you kind of come to learn what he did. And he so, like, it's like, that takes forever to figure out. What's he supposed to be doing in there? That takes forever to figure out. And not only does it take forever to figure out, but they lie to him about why he's there, and they constantly lie to him about what he's going to find when he's down there, and they're constantly lying to him about what they know about what he's going to find when he's down there, and they constantly never even tell him what it is they want him to do while he's down there. Ostensibly, the idea is that he is there to just view and report back on what he sees. However, once he starts seeing things, oh, go and do this. And then he sees another thing. Oh, go and do this. And he sees another thing. Oh, go and do this. And that's it. But every time he sees something, it becomes all right, well, we're going to expand the scope of this mission, and you have to go and do a thing. Which with a video game is absolutely understandable. But with a movie, it's just kind of like, you need to reveal something, like there needs to be, and there needs to be an something moving things forward. But the thing that's moving this forward is literally just the guy in the tin can, and what's his mental what's he going through being cooped up in this tin can in an ocean of blood. And so it's tough. I really genuinely appreciate what's happening here. I do feel like, this is aside from the fact that I did nod off. Like, it needs there needs to be like, you're introduced to everything with him in the tin can, and I kind of feel like we need just a little more to latch onto the character. And I kind of feel like at 2 hours and 5 minutes, it's 30 minutes too long. Like, there's just really not 2 hours worth of material here. There's an amazing and interesting 90-minute movie where, instead of there being little missions and side quests that he has to do, it's literally just, can we break this guy? Like, and what are the implications of putting him in this ocean of blood, and what can we do? Because none of the side quests work ultimately, and none of the side quests are super interesting. Like, they just become distractions from the interesting parts of the movie, which are him dealing with the fact that he's stuck in an iron lung. Now, the good news is, most of the time you're just dealing with him being stuck in an iron lung. The bad news is that you have to deal with 30 minutes of additional plot that, I could take or leave ultimately. And by the end, it gives minimal payoff. But as an exploration of the psyche of somebody stuck in a tin can, it's actually pretty good. As a movie paid for entirely on somebody's own budget, on someone's own dime, and the fact that it more than made its original budget, bravo, man. He didn't even like try to sell this to help get a release. He was just like, look, call up your local theater, tell them you want to see this movie. I'm planning on putting it out. And so people called up their local theaters and said, we want to see this movie. And so theaters put it theaters put it out there for people to see. Excuse me. And it did well. And bravo. I love that. So I would encourage anybody who's even mildly interested in what's going on with Iron Lung to go see it. Me personally, I can't do more than 2 tacos plus guac, but it's a fantastic guac, and it is a really interesting watch, but it's just not something that I think I would ever really ever want to or need to revisit. But yeah, bravo. Good for Iron Lung. Okay. This is real talk. Gonna be back next week. I got 3 movies coming out that I want to see. We've got the latest retelling of Wuthering Heights with Jacob Elordi and um oh my goodness, Barbie, who's I can't think of her name. It's Wuthering Heights. And we've got oh my goodness, the one that I'm looking forward to the most is sort of like a pre-apocalyptic, it feels like a 12 Monkeys kind of thing going on where it's good luck, have fun, don't die. I'm ridiculously excited about that. And then there's a heist caper starring Chris Hemsworth and Halle Berry. And just the fact that it's a heist movie, it's getting 3 tacos. So just come by and see how much more over 3 tacos I go ahead and give it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing next week. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, go out and go see some movies, folks. All right.